Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Lamb, and I'm with the Virginia SBDC Network. For those of you that are not familiar with our organization, the Virginia Small Business Development Center is a partnership program between the U.S. Small Business Administration, George Mason University, and local host institutions throughout Virginia. With 26 locations across the Commonwealth, we provide training and technical assistance to small businesses in their local communities. Our one-on-one advising services are available at no charge. Today's webinar, Grow Your Business with Digital Marketing, is presented by the Virginia SBDC Network. Stay tuned next year. You can look at our calendar, and we'll be sending out information about upcoming Digital Bootcamp Series webinars. And also, I'm going to ask at the end of our webinar, when I place our poll, if you would specifically let us know topics that you would like to see covered in the digital world, so that we can tweak these webinars a little bit more for what would work for you all. We are recording today's presentation, and it will be posted on our website, virginiasbdc.org. Due to the large number of participants, everyone's microphone is muted and the chat feature is turned off. But if you have questions during the presentation, you can type those into the Q&A box, and we will address them at the end of the session. We have also enabled the live transcript function, which you can show or hide via your own meeting controls. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for today's session, Cameron Nelson, Technology Advisor for the Virginia SBDC. Cameron has over 19 years of experience in technology and as a senior tech consultant in Silicon Valley, helping Fortune 500 companies improve their digital marketing and e-commerce. At the same time, he founded several tech companies, including a software as a service website for tree preservation and a blockchain platform for nonprofits. Cameron is accomplished in language culture, has an MBA and MA. He believes new technology products have the ability to help shape our world for the better. Please join me in welcoming Cameron Nelson.
Thanks for the introduction, and hello, everybody. Welcome to this session on how to grow your business with digital marketing. You know, I've been leading online workshops on this topic for several years, and it's continued to grow in importance. And it's important for small business owners to be aware of this topic. In 2023, on average, 72% of large and small organizations' budget was spent on digital marketing. So 72% of the budget, I think also 72% of a business owner's focus should be on digital marketing to really reap the rewards of this system and the possibilities that you have here. So I hope this will be informative and useful, and I look forward to answering as many of your questions as we can at the end of the presentation. So with that, let's jump right into it. There are 5 main reasons why you should be considering digital marketing as a way to expand your online customer acquisition. The main thing here is that digital marketing creates growth. Now, one of the main areas where digital marketing is helpful is because it gives you broad geographical reach. You can target an online ad or a social media post to any geographic area you like, and you can limit its reach to certain areas as well. So unlike traditional marketing methods, which might be a newspaper and print, a magazine, or even a billboard, you don't really have a way to target who's going to see the ad and when. And with digital marketing, you can change your targeting on the fly. It's a very reflexive and responsive way to allocate your marketing budget. The second reason is because digital marketing offers great cost efficiency compared to most other forms of marketing, which is why we've seen over the last year, 72% of the marketing budget shifted to digital marketing methods, which we're going to talk about today. And so this is obviously a trend that we see accelerating. If you're unsure of digital marketing, it's great that you're here today because you're going to learn about the basics and some more intermediate techniques that can help you really get the most benefit from your digital marketing strategy. Number 3 is that digital marketing offers you quantifiable results. You know, whichever digital marketing platform you go with, and Google and Facebook are the 2 biggest ones, and we'll talk about those. They give you ways to monitor your analytics and see the effectiveness of your ads, see the effectiveness of your website search engine optimization. And part of that is understanding your data and understanding what the metrics and the analytics tell you, because at the end of the day, they're telling you a story about, are your users the right ones to buy your product? Are the right people seeing your posts and your ads? Are your products the right product for the market you're looking to sell them to? And so the data that you can collect is possible to tell the story and answer those questions in ways that traditional marketing really is not able to. Number 4 is that digital marketing offers easier personalization. So we all know Facebook, and some of us probably are aware that Facebook collects massive amounts of data on all of their users. So everything you tell Facebook, from your posts to your bio to what you like and what trends and videos you watch, Facebook knows a ton about all the people on their platform. So when you run an ad with Facebook or with Google, who has some similar information, you're able to target your ad at certain groups of people, whether it's by age, gender, location, jobs, hobbies, and interests. You can really narrow down the focus of the ad or the social media post, which really helps it to get in front of the eyes of your intended audience, and you don't waste time or money marketing to people who are not likely to buy your product. And number 5 is that digital marketing offers a very easy path to conversions. And we'll talk about conversions a couple more times in this presentation, but what that means is that it's somebody who views your ad or your social media post or goes to your website and then buys your product or service and becomes a paid customer. That's called a conversion, so you want your conversions to be as high as possible. Now, when you're doing online marketing, you can have your conversions be a very simple 1 click or 2 clicks. They can actually then have bought your product. And this is unlike if there's a more traditional marketing method like a newspaper ad or magazine ad. There's going to have to be several more steps and much more time that goes by between when somebody sees your ad and when they're able to buy your product. So the easy conversions is a great benefit to online marketing. So one interesting thing is about email marketing, which we'll talk about in detail, is that email marketing is continuing to be a very highly effective. And on average in 2023, for every $1 spent on email marketing, companies reported a revenue of $36. So let that sink in for a minute. For every $1 they spent on a service or a platform to help them send emails or a marketing strategist to help them write those emails, they saw a return of $36 for every one spent. Now, this is particularly important for small businesses like yourselves, because email marketing offers a channel with a very high return. And that's why we're going to talk about email marketing some more. Another interesting trend is that the global e-commerce market is obviously thriving. As of 2023, there's 2.1 billion people, or roughly 27% of the world's population, shopping online. In addition, almost 70% of the e-commerce traffic comes from organic search results. So this means somebody's typing into Google or Microsoft or Facebook, I'm looking for a service or a product, and then they are finding the product through that search and buying it. So again, 70% of total e-commerce traffic comes from these organic searches. And that's why search engine optimization is quite important, and we're going to talk about that. The next interesting trend is with mobile commerce. There's an increased use of smartphones for online shopping. We've seen this year over year. E-commerce being sold on mobile devices now results in 2023, it's estimated of $3.4 trillion of mobile shopping. So smartphone usage for shopping is roughly 70% of all e-commerce shopping. So what this means is that your website and your digital marketing strategy should definitely be optimized and even focused on primarily mobile shoppers. So now that we've covered some of the trends in the industry, I'm going to talk about the outline of today's presentation. First, we're going to talk about how social media in email marketing can help you increase your brand awareness and personalize your outbound marketing messages. Secondly, we're going to talk about how paid ads and SEO can work together to help your website pages be attractive to search engines and help you get those very important organic search results like we mentioned. Third, we're going to talk about affiliate marketing, which is the use of a third-party influencer or personality online to generate traffic or leads to your website and your products and services there. And fourthly, we're going to tie it all together with analytics. And this is something I'll come back to because Analytics is really the secret to making many of your digital marketing strategies successful. It can be the differentiator between a successful strategy and a failure and a big waste of time and money. So I want to make sure that we understand the importance of analytics, how you use it, measure it, and how you can get the most benefit from understanding it. So first, let's talk a little bit more about social media marketing. Social media marketing on any of the major social platforms, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, have several key advantages over non-social media marketing. The first one is it can increase your brand awareness. Because of the nature of social media marketing being very collaborative and you're easily able to boost website traffic and enhance the awareness of your brand. So it's good for brands starting out. You can foster online discussions. You can give an audience your active engagement. You can answer their questions on social media. And it's obviously gained a lot of popularity as one of the most effective ways for attracting attention online and catering to, really helping you as a small business find your target market online quickly, efficiently, and cost effectively. Next, it helps by giving you lots of useful metrics. These metrics are going to include things like your engagement level. It's going to help you understand what posts you made on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or another social media platform are the most effective, the least effective in reaching your audience. All of this data will be at your fingertips, and it's basically included for free as you do social media marketing. So it's a very valuable aspect. And third, social media marketing helps you build that important trust and dialogue. Lots and lots of brands, whether they're big, medium, or small, employ social media marketing as a communication tool to help build trust and a relationship with your target market. Because prioritizing relationships has been shown to be one of the key drivers in helping you sell your products online. So it's really good to have a focus on that and a strategy of how you respond to either customer complaints, inquiries, questions, and by delivering valuable and helpful information on social media and content in your posts, the sales will typically naturally follow as you tap further and further into the target market that you're pursuing and really understanding their mindset and what motivates them to buy your product. These are the 4 most popular platforms for social media marketing. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, which has been rebranded X, most of you know. We have Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, and we have YouTube, which is owned by Google. So let's go through and talk about the differences between these 4 main platforms and some of their main strengths. So first off, Facebook. It is definitely the giant here in the room. It is the world's largest social media platform. I believe they have 2 billion or 2.5 billion users. And so the audience here is very broad and diverse, covering the entire world. But if you had to categorize it, primarily it's in the age range of 25 to 34-year-olds. And I think the strengths of using this platform are really that it has a high user engagement among social media platforms, which means users on Facebook, whether it's the app or the website, spend more time each day than on other social media platforms. That's a high level of engagement. It means they're seeing more ads, seeing more posts, and more likely to find your product and service and then help make that decision to buy it. It's also a great platform for what I call brand storytelling. You can have a focus on your Facebook page to have posts about your business, maybe how you make your product, the people in the business, how you help the community, whatever kind of story you want to tell. And Facebook is great because you can post videos, images, and text and really help tell that story. The next one here is Twitter, also called X. Twitter is really a good platform for real-time conversions. Because of the nature of Twitter, kind of being an instantaneous news platform, it really focuses on news and trends. And so it's a great platform for a lot of people to advertise on. If you have a product that has quick updates, or you want to have a real personality to your brand, or focus on customer service interactions, then Twitter can be a great choice. Now, I'm sure we've all heard that Elon Musk bought Twitter and renamed it X, and he's been in the news a lot in the last few months, changing the policies over there. And I think it scared a lot of advertisers away, especially big companies. He's had a lot of political comments and comments about current events that some companies just don't agree with. So they have stopped advertising on Twitter. So will Twitter survive in the next 2 or 3 years? I don't really know. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's definitely being shaken up a lot right now. So if you feel like your target market is there, I still encourage you that it's a great place to run some ads on that platform. However, if you feel like your target market is not in line with Elon Musk's personality and how he shaped that company, then you might consider not advertising on that platform just because your target market might be moving away from that anyway. The third one here is Instagram. Instagram is a really great platform for when you have a visual posts and visual content. It was made as an image sharing platform, and it's now has a lot of video sharing capabilities. It's very, very popular with young adults, and there's slightly more females on the platform as compared to males. So if your target market is biased towards females, then Instagram can be a good fit for you. And it's an ideal platform if you want to visually brand your products by having really interesting images or video content, and especially interacting with a younger and somewhat female demographic. YouTube is the largest video sharing platform in the world. Its audience is very broad and diverse. It's a slightly younger audience. Again, there's not really specific age ranges available, but I would say it's similar to Facebook. Probably around 20 to 35-year-olds are the primary users on YouTube. And if you have video ads or you can create videos showing off your products, it's ideal for content of that nature. Whether it's long videos that you post on your YouTube channel that are essentially free social media posts, or you want to have a short YouTube ad that runs in the middle of other videos, those are both options. So now that we've discussed the 4 major social media platforms and some of the strengths and weaknesses there, I hope you have an idea of which platform or platforms might be the best for you if you wanted to get active on social media. You can create your free posts, you can create your ads on those platforms. Another major aspect of the digital marketing strategy here is with email marketing. And as I mentioned previously, in 2023, it's projected that for every dollar spent, based on responses from surveys and data gathered, that $36 was the return. So that's a great return on investment. So you might wonder, well, why do you need to spend money doing email marketing? Aren't sending emails free? Essentially, yes, you can send emails for free if you have a Gmail address or you have an email address at your business. You can send individual emails or small group emails for free, absolutely. But you can't track if they've been opened. You can't track if a link you put in that email has been clicked on. And so those are some of the main metrics you want to measure when sending emails to really see if they're doing any good at all. So for that, you'll need to upgrade to a platform that allows you to send emails through it, and you can track all that stuff. So there's several out there. The one I have used the most, and I think it is the largest email platform in the world, is called MailChimp. MailChimp is very easy to use. You can send out your emails to dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people at once. They do charge a monthly fee. I think it's around $20 to $30 a month. So if you're serious about email marketing and you're looking for a good platform that'll be flexible, help you do that, help you gather the data, then I would encourage you to look at MailChimp. There's others out there as well, and you might find another platform you like even better. But whichever platform you use, here are some tips and do's and don'ts when it comes to email marketing to help you maximize those emails' effectiveness. The first one is that you want to individualize the content in the body and in the subject of the email. This is another key advantage of using a platform like MailChimp, because if you were to send out 10 emails manually through your personal email account or business email account, and you wanted to change the subject and the body of the email, you're going to have to retype that every time for every email. But with MailChimp or the other big platforms, you can just input a list of the email addresses along with the people's names or job titles or companies or anything else you have, and it will automatically populate those fields for you with the correct name or company name. So that will automate a ton of this, and individualizing the content and the subject of the emails has been shown to show up to a 40% higher open rate and click-through rate. So somebody clicking on that link. So it's very important, and you shouldn't forget to individualize the content in the body just because it makes it that much more personal. Your emails should always state clearly what you're going to be sending. So if you have a website that has a sign-up form for a newsletter or an email list, you should say right there before they sign up what you're going to be sending them. Could be offers, it could be tips and tricks from your industry, whatever you think is going to encourage them to sign up and stay signed up. You also need to offer a clear unsubscribe option in all of your emails. If you use a big platform like MailChimp, it's going to add this automatically. You can't remove it. It has to be there. It's a federal law. But if you send emails manually, you might not have an unsubscribe option. So you then should say, well, if you want to unsubscribe, reply and let me know. So there needs to be the way to unsubscribe. The reason is because if too many people mark your emails as spam, then Google and Microsoft and the other email providers of the world are going to quickly think that all the emails you send are just spam, and then they're going to block them and send them to people's spams folders instead of their inbox. So you really don't want people to mark your emails as spam. The next do is to integrate transactional and promotional emails. What this means is that you can obviously have some emails aiming to sell a product. If you have a sale coming up or an event or a new product you're excited about, you can talk about those things in an email, but most of your emails, around 80%, should be focused on interesting news or interesting tips and tricks or something that your audience finds useful and actually valuable information. I mean, it could be stock market tips, it could be baby food tips. I mean, whatever your business is, you can think of a strategy of delivering interesting and creative information, and that should be the majority of your emails. And you can sprinkle in some percentage of emails that are promoting a product sale. Because, and the last tip here is that you want your prospects to see your email campaign as a valuable service that they're interested in, they want to stay subscribed to, and hopefully that they share with their friends. And so you don't want them to just be overburdened by too many promotional emails. So some things to stay away from: you obviously don't want to use overhyped subject lines. So not all caps, don't use a lot of exclamation points. Those will negatively impact both people's interest level in opening them, but also can make them be sent to the spam filter. You don't want to send emails from an email address that says no reply. So if any of us have gotten an email from a big company like Google or Apple or Microsoft, it's almost always from no reply, which is because they can't possibly handle the volume of emails they would get. And so they don't even allow you to reply to them if you have a question. However, as a small business, your strategy should be the opposite. You want to encourage communication and dialogue and questions and engagement. So you should always send your emails from something like contact at your domain name, or hello, or info. You can think of something that is personal to your brand and catchy and fun, but it should be something that is actively viewed so you can always engage with your target customers. You don't want to send emails that offer no value. That will be a very quick way to get people to unsubscribe or report them as spam. You don't want to list too many call to actions. So an email ideally has one call to action you want that person to take. So generally speaking, it would be, click on this link to view our website. Maybe you can buy your product or purchase a service, but it might be we have a new blog post about a topic. Click on the link to view the whole blog post. Something like that. So you can have different call to actions in different emails, but there should only be one. So you don't have a confusing list of different call to actions. Just one per email. You don't want to send an email that's too long. Now, generally speaking, about half a page of text is all that people have the patience for reading nowadays. So I'd really encourage you to try to be very brief with your text. Think of 1 or 2 paragraphs as a pretty good length. Another thing you don't want to do is not segmenting your email list or sending irrelevant emails. So if you're a business and you have different types of customers, you can kind of break them up into different groups. Let's say one group is the soccer mom kind of stereotype. One group is a teenager who likes to skateboard and eat pizza. However you break your target customers up, you can probably think of certain groups. You can then segment your email list in a platform like MailChimp and say, this is the group that's kind of fall into the soccer mom category. And this is the group that fall into the teenage category. And then when you send emails, you can slightly customize the emails, really speaking to that group, what they need, what the problem is you're solving for them. And by segmenting it and making it very personal, you're going to see a higher click-through rate and a higher conversion rate, which will generate more revenue for your business. Another thing that you want to make sure is that you don't forget to optimize your emails for mobile devices. 75 to 80% of emails are being opened on mobile devices now. If you send through a platform like MailChimp, they're going to do this for you. But if you send through a different platform, maybe just your email address, images or videos you might put could not display properly on a mobile device. So just be aware of that and check for that. You don't want to send too many emails or send emails at the wrong time. And typically about 1 or 2 emails a week is pretty good. Some businesses go almost 1 email a day, and that works well for them. So somewhere between 5 emails a week and 1 email a week is generally going to be the best frequency. Time of day does vary depending on your industry and the habits of your target market, but usually in the morning time between 9 and 10 a.m. and also in the evenings between 6 and 7 p.m. are statistically shown to be some of the better times at sending emails. And lastly, do not ignore your analytics. As you send emails through any of these platforms, you're going to get reports and see data, and that's going to tell you a story of what you're doing right and also what you're doing wrong and what should be improved upon to increase the effectiveness of your email marketing strategy. The next important part of a good digital marketing strategy are your paid ads. So the paid ads are called PPC or pay-per-click. And it's essentially you create an ad on an ad platform, and every time somebody clicks on the ad, you pay that platform a certain amount of money. It's usually quite small, between 30 and 50 cents per click, and it varies a little bit depending on your industry and your target market. There's 4 main areas that influence if your ad is going to be shown when somebody searches for something. So let's say you're selling, because it's getting cold out now, you're selling dog mittens. So they're like socks for your dog. So if somebody is searching for this product like dog socks, and you have an ad aimed to sell your dog socks, there's these 4 categories that are going to determine if the ad is shown. So it's important to understand them all. The first one is the ad quality. The quality of the ad means, does it have any grammar errors or typos? Does it have all capital letters or a lot of exclamation points that would decrease the perceived quality? You want your ad to be proper English, clear, concise, just very well thought out, and that will give you a high score here in the ad quality. The next area is keyword relevance. So if you're selling dog socks, somebody's probably going to type in the term, dog socks or warm dog socks or winter dog socks. So the keywords that they're going to type in, you should think through very carefully, and you can place as many of those as possible in the text of your ad. And this will ensure that there's as many matching words as possible to help increase your score in this area to hopefully show your ad. The third factor is the landing page quality. The landing page is where the link after clicking on the ad takes somebody. So generally speaking, this would be to your website where your product would probably be for sale, but maybe you're having an ad to help to focus people on your Facebook page and encourage them to friend and follow your Facebook page. And so whichever landing page you have, you need to make sure that page has, again, proper spelling, no grammar mistakes, that it has useful and relevant content, that has a lot of keywords matching the search terms. So that all influences the landing page quality score. And the fourth and final factor is the bid amount. So like I mentioned, you pay Google or Microsoft a small amount every time somebody clicks on that ad. So let's say it's 50 cents. That's set by default, depending on your industry and kind of the information you fill out for the ad. But if you find your ad isn't being shown as much as you'd like, you can increase the amount you're willing to pay Microsoft or Google. Let's just say you want to go up to $1. And then you're going to set your bid amount higher. So you're essentially bidding $1 to show your ad over some of your competitors who might have only bid 75 cents. In that scenario, the higher bid amount, what you're willing to pay, Google will say, okay, we'll take that money. We'll show that more expensive ad. So again, you can set this bid amount manually, even though it's set by default automatically, and it's usually pretty spot on. You don't really need to change the bid amount unless you're trying to get more advanced with your paid ads. So paid ads are a way that you pay to get visitors to your website and help you sell your products and generate revenue. The other side of the coin is search engine optimization, also called SEO, which is the art and the strategy of making your website appealing to the search engine so you show up in the organic search result rankings. These are the rankings underneath any paid ads that are absolutely free. You don't pay for people who click on the organic search results. And so having a good SEO score can help you get this increased organic website traffic. However, like with the paid ads algorithm, there's an algorithm here that determines if your website has a high SEO score or a low SEO score. And so we're going to talk about the 4 main contributors to a good SEO score so you understand them. And you can also improve your website's SEO and increase its ranking. So the first one is the quality of the content. Now, every time a website is launched or updated, Google, Microsoft, and pretty much every other search engine out there, they scan every website and they rank it. They look at the content. They see if there's spelling errors, if there's grammar, punctuation mistakes. They look and see if your images are very big and loading slowly, or if they're nice and small, compressed images that make the website load quickly. So this all plays into the quality of the content, and it's an important aspect in keeping your website with a high SEO score. The second factor that they look at is the level of user engagement. So you might not know, but Google and Microsoft and the others can see how long people spend on your website. They can see what pages people spend time on. They can see what links people click on the most. And so if you have a low level of user engagement, that means that people have looked at your website and found it immediately uninteresting and just left. And that is a bad sign for the search engines because they think your website is not providing anything valuable. So you want to increase the length of time people spend on your website. That's called the user engagement. You can do that by having some interesting videos that they'll watch, interesting images, valuable text, valuable information, all those things. So all those strategies can help you increase your level of user engagement. The third factor is mobile friendliness. Now, as we've seen, a majority of websites now are being visited on mobile devices. And if you've built your website in the last 2 or 3 years, chances are pretty good that it's already mobile friendly. It's mobile optimized. You shouldn't have a problem here. But if your website is 4 years old or 5 years old or older, it's quite likely there are parts of it that are not compatible with modern smartphone operating systems, and the website might not display properly. The search engines will know that it's not being as compatible as it needs to be, and they will decrease your score here on the mobile friendliness. And the fourth factor is the number and quality of your inbound links. So this is an often misunderstood or neglected part of a good search engine optimization strategy. Inbound links indicate how many websites are linking to yours. So again, if you're selling dog socks, you might have a link going to your website from a local newspaper that did an article on you. That would be an inbound link when they link to your website. Or it might be from a supplier. Let's just say you buy some high quality yarn for your socks. That yarn shop might have a link to your website on their website. So these are examples of inbound links. The more inbound links you have to your website, the more that Google and Microsoft think your website is a valuable resource. It's a good source for people to find the answers to the questions. So they're going to increase the SEO score. So by having more inbound links from highly visited websites, you can get a high score here. And so all 4 of these are what play into your SEO score and really help determine if your website shows up high in the organic search results. So here's a bit of a step-by-step guide on how you can go about improving your website SEO. The first thing you want to do is keyword research. This helps you unlock the audience searches. You really need to know what they're searching for, so your words on the website can align with the search terms as closely as possible. So what you need to do here is identify the relevant keywords for your product or your industry. You can do this with some free tools like the Google Keyword Planner or SEMrush. They're both great tools. They have a free level. They'll guide you through asking some questions and then help you understand the search terms that are relevant for your product. And you should focus on what's called long tail keywords for better targeting and lower competition. So a short word or short phrase like dog socks is quite short. And so there can be lots of different companies trying to have an ad for that type of product. But maybe your dog socks are unique because I'm just trying to think quickly here. Maybe they smell nice, like they have a scent to them. So you can customize your product and try to make it unique and stand out from a more generic pool of similar products. Number 2 is your on-page search engine optimization. This helps you, again, increase quality of SEO on your website. So you can optimize your title tags, the meta descriptions, and header tags with the keywords that you've found in your keyword research. So title tags, what this is simply on a website, there's usually bigger words and a bigger font. These are the titles of certain sections. The words you put there are more important than the words you put in the smaller fonts for your SEO. So you want to make sure the titles have the most important keywords. Meta descriptions and header tags are also just additional places in website builders where you can put in some keywords that describe your website. So if you have multiple pages to a website, like probably you will, you want to make sure that each page has some unique and descriptive page titles and descriptions. Don't make them all the same. If you make them unique, it helps improve your SEO. Tip number 3 is your quality of your content. And this is the main driver of getting a good SEO score. So create high quality content. This should be relevant and engaging, and it really needs to address your audience's needs. Help them understand what problem you're solving for them. Create that text to be relevant and engaging. And you should also regularly update your content to keep it fresh. You know, a lot of websites maybe haven't been updated in 2 or 3 years, and they can be showing outdated information. So you want to make sure that you're updating it ideally, you know, every 2 or 3 months, if you're in an industry that is changing rapidly. And the last factor here is your page load speed. This will not only enhance user experience because your website will load quickly, and even if they have a slow internet connection, it'll be snappy and fast. You want to improve that page loading speed, and the main way to do that is with shrinking your images. The image file sizes are mainly the contributor to a slow website. You can do a search for a free online compression tool for your image. You can upload your big images, resize them, download them as compressed images, which will drastically help your page load speed, help the user experience, and also increase your SEO. And you can use a tool like this one, Google PageSpeed Insights. It'll analyze any website, and it'll tell you which images are very big, and also offer recommendations on how to optimize them and compress them to a smaller file size. So it makes it very easy and pretty painless to really increase the page load speed for your entire website. The next tactic for your digital marketing strategy is the affiliate marketing. In this strategy, you're going to compensate a third-party influencer or personality to help you generate traffic and interest in your products. This is nice because if you're starting out, you might not have a big social media following or any following at all. But if you tap into somebody who already has 10,000 or 100,000 or 1 million followers, you're getting access to their large number of followers who are hopefully in your target market. And also to the person who's a creative, motivated person, they're an influencer and a trusted voice in the industry that you're selling in. So some of the pros of using affiliate marketing is that it gives you quick access to a broad market. You don't have to spend months or years building up your own social media following. You get to piggyback off of what somebody else has already created there. It gives you more qualified leads because you should only pick an affiliate who is already a trusted voice in your specific industry, and their followers online are your target market as close as possible. So that's going to give you very similar people with similar interests and problems that you're helping to solve with your company. And it can be a surprising low cost way of advertising compared to other forms. However, there's some cons that can be subject to fraud. You have less creative control over what's said about your product in the reviews, and it could also be vulnerable to theft. If you just have made a deal with an affiliate for the first time, you send them some products to test, and maybe they don't follow through and say anything about them online, you could be left in that situation. With anything, I think there's a trade-off. And one of the largest affiliate programs in the world is one that some of us might be familiar with. It's called Amazon Affiliates. And what it does is if you see a website where people are reviewing, let's say, the top 10 gadgets for Christmas time, and they have links to the Amazon pages to buy them, they're an Amazon affiliate in that program, and they're getting a little bit of commission, like about 5% of the purchase price if you click on the link and buy it from their review site. So this is an example of a very large affiliate program, but it works on businesses that are just startups, small, medium, and large size businesses. And it's a great way to really accelerate your online, we would call it the online market penetration and your online sales. There are three main types of affiliate marketing. The first one is an unattached affiliate. In this situation, this person has no connection or authority in the type of product that they're going to promote. So one example would be a pay-per-click marketing campaign where your affiliate creates ads for products and earn a commission for a click. So this is very similar to the Amazon Associates. Another example would be a pay-per-click expert running Google Ads for a range of different affiliate products like home appliances or fitness gear. But they don't really create content or claim expertise in any of these areas. They're just kind of giving a review. The next level is a related affiliate who promote your products and have a connection with them, but don't necessarily use them themselves all the time. So like a fitness blogger promoting a brand of sports equipment can leverage their niche and their authority in the space, but not necessarily use the products in their own workout routine. And the last example is an affiliate, an involved affiliate. They've used the product and they're going to give a review of it, usually a positive review. That's part of your arrangement with them. One example would be like a cosmetic vlogger demonstrating and reviewing makeup products that they use and endorse. So these are all different types of affiliate programs. They can be a surprising entryway into online marketing. They can have some quick and tangible results very quickly. However, you do need to have some trust and understanding with this individual. Usually there should be a contract in place and do some legal paperwork to make sure you're as protected as you can be when it comes to what you're going to pay them for and what they're going to deliver, just to make sure that you're protected. Now, analytics is really an underlying theme throughout all of these different tactics that we've talked about. And understanding your analytics and knowing how to look at them and measure them is really important to get the most out of your marketing spend and your budget. Also, your time, just creating ads and posting for free, you might not spend money on those, but you will spend your time, which is valuable. So let's go through the 6 main analytics that you need to be aware of and tracking on at least a monthly basis. The first one is your traffic sources. So you can tell if you have a website selling your products, if your visitors came directly, which means they clicked on a link in your email or a newsletter, through an organic search, like searching Google and you're good at search engine optimization, showed your website at the top and they clicked on it, or a referral, something like from an affiliate program. The second metric are the page views, which measures the number of views each page has gotten. And so by doing this, you can see which of your pages on the website are getting the most attention. If a page has high views but low revenue, they might find that there's a problem with the page. There could be a broken link or an image not loading correctly or something else preventing people from not buying a product. The third metric is the average session duration. Now, again, we mentioned this, and the higher score here means the user spent more time on your website. And you might find that you have a high instance of people leaving your site quickly. And so this can indicate you've got a problem with your content, or that people visiting your website just aren't your target market. So you have a problem with your marketing. And you can increase the average session duration by posting really useful, informative, maybe funny content. It should be engaging. Images and videos are obviously preferable to a lot of text, especially video content. People are much more willing to watch a 60-second video on a product or service they're interested in and then read a page or two of text on the same thing. So most people will leave if they see a page of text, whereas most people will stay and watch a video. So this will help you increase the session duration. The fourth metric is the bounce rate. And so this one's a negative metric, and you want this to be as low as possible. This is the percentage of people who leave your site after only viewing one page. And this is a great indicator of the effectiveness of your content and your targeting strategies and your marketing campaigns. If you're getting a lot of people, let's say you get 1,000 people a month to your website, but 95% of them bounce away, which means they leave immediately, it's a pretty good indicator that what your marketing is getting people to go to your site, but the information is not aligning up with what they're interested in. So that's a good indicator that you need to refocus your marketing efforts on a different crowd, or redesign and reword your website to appeal more to that market. The fifth metric is the exit rate, which shows the percentage of exits from specific pages. And if you're selling your products online, then ideally this is going to be from the checkout confirmation page. But you can use it to identify problems in your website, that if people are exiting from a page that seems strange to you, maybe they're all exiting from your contact page, but you're not getting any emails or phone calls or form submissions. You might find that you have a form that's not working properly, or maybe your phone number is not correct or something. So it can help you identify problems. And the sixth is the conversion rate, which again is the number of the people who visit your website and the percentage of those who convert to being a paid user or buy your product. So you want this to be as high as possible. And you don't always need to have your conversion goal to be purchasing a product. And perhaps you're in early stages, you're trying to get a big newsletter list so you can target your email marketing and get a bigger group there. Your call to action might be to subscribe to your newsletter, and that's what you're tracking. That's a successful conversion for you. So whatever your conversion goal is, the conversion rate is generally how you're going to track that month over month to see how you're doing with that. This is an example of a pretty typical website analytics dashboard. A few key things that we'll see here is that there'll usually be a chart that's going to show over time the number of visitors. Here it's called sessions, and it looks like there's 741, but you can set your date range, can be 7 days, 1 month, 90 days, a year, and you'll see over time fluctuations. This can be helpful for identifying trends that can help you really increase your revenue more online. Here we have this average session engagement metric. On this example website, it's about 30 seconds. So there's no real right or wrong number here. I've seen average session duration as low as 4 or 5 seconds, which is not great. I've also seen it up to 2 or 3 minutes. So it depends on what you're selling, how long people need to spend on your website to make that decision to buy. And so the main thing here is that you're familiar with this number and you're watching it increase or decrease over time. And ideally, it's increasing, because the longer people spend on your website indicates they're more interested in it, and also it's going to help your SEO. Another key metric here is the average engagement time, which is how long people will spend on a certain page of your website. So you might find that if you have much of your content on your homepage, that they spend the majority of their time on that page. Here we have the number of conversions, in this case 931, for this time period of about 1 month, from January 1st to January 28th. So again, the number of conversions, you might be in the low single digits, you might be really high like this. Everybody's going to start in a different place, and the main thing to watch here is that your conversions are preferably increasing over time. And we also have this circle chart, which shows the sources of the different visitors. Here you can see 40 from email, 40 from referral. That would be maybe an affiliate program. You would have 37 from paid search. You're usually going to have a category of other. This is generally when people are browsing in like a private window in their browser, and your analytics doesn't know how they came necessarily. You might also have categories for direct, social, and organic search. Here in this case, organic search, you can see, is quite low. It's only 10 out of 249. So preferably your organic search is going to be a large percentage of this circle, which indicates your SEO is doing well and performing its function, helping you get lots and lots of website visitors for essentially very little work on your part, and also for no cost on your part. Now, not everybody here is selling a business to consumer, B2C. Some people here are probably selling B2B, business to business, and some maybe even B2G, business to government. I don't really cover B2G sales here. There are other SBDC advisors who have expertise in that area, and it's pretty niche. But with B2B and B2C sales, there's a few key differences and trends here that are important to be aware of. When you're selling business to business, these types of clients tend to have a longer decision-making process. And so you're going to need longer time and multiple steps usually to get them to be a paid customer. It's not usually just a one touch point and they buy. So relationship building strategies for your social media marketing work best for these clients. Whereas business to consumer customers, they tend to respond better to a short-term offer like a sale, or a personal message that encourages them to buy right then and there. They're able to make those decisions. Business-to-business transactions are pretty much based on logic, evidence, and data. And if you're doing B2B marketing, you should focus on collecting data about your product, the benefits, and help those decision makers in that long sales process be able to report upwards and influence the person with the decision-making power. Whereas in B2C, content is mostly emotional based and sales are mostly based on emotions. So you can focus on making the customer feel good about a purchase or extol the benefits they're going to get and the feelings they're going to get from purchasing your product, or the problems that it's going to solve for them. And lastly, B2B decisions are usually more than one person's input. There's usually kind of a chain of command. So the marketing materials that best drive these decisions are things that can be easily shared. So think of PDFs or Word document, white papers, things like that. Whereas with B2C customers, they don't really care about downloading or sharing information about the product. They prefer one-on-one connections with the brand's mission, and again, with an emotional focus on your messaging to help them feel something for your product. Most consumers are repeat customers of the same brand because they either like that brand's benefit to society and kind of its mission in the world, or they like how that brand connects with them emotionally and how it makes them feel. So I know we covered a lot of information, and that was all pretty quick, but it's a good look at the overview of this process and what can really work. So to summarize it, digital marketing is a really great way to help you boost your online sales. You're going to learn about your customers' likes and their preferences because you can engage with them on social media. You're going to learn about their buying habits by watching your analytic data and your data collected through your emails and newsletters. You'll be able to find out what's working on your website and what's not working. And you can better target your customers with email campaigns with some of those personalization features I showed you. So I want to leave you with a couple of tips. Tip number one is stay active. Online marketing is a rapidly changing place. Every 6 months or so, there's something pretty major that shifts how the best approach is to target markets online, to advertise, or to do SEO. So it's important to continue to learn about this topic. You can attend presentations like this one. You can talk to business owners in your circle and in your network and read websites, news sites about your industry and marketing thought leaders in your industry. And at some point, I know quite a few business owners who I speak with are kind of not sure where to start. They feel a bit lost. Well, my suggestion is to start with your gut instinct. You now have the knowledge of the most effective digital marketing strategies. So what does your gut tell you? Where should you start? You know, nobody knows your product and your target market better than you do. So it's just about a matter of taking a first step. And many of these forms of digital marketing are free, and they only take your time to get them started. And a lot of small business owners I've met with have been surprised how successful their initial efforts have been. So keep in mind, you should always learn from your data. You should adapt your strategies over time by looking at what your competitors are doing in this space, what is working for you the best, and what's working the least, and just be proactive in making changes. And always be thinking of new and creative ways to engage with your market. And there's other social media platforms, which I obviously didn't talk about. There's ones like TikTok, which are good for really young markets, like teenagers, and lots of different ways to connect online. So always be looking and exploring those ways. Be adventurous and creative, and digital marketing will definitely help you increase your online customer acquisition and your online sales. So I thank you all for attending today. I hope that was useful. I'll now be able to answer your questions. You can type them into the QA box up at the top, and we will get through as many as we do have time for today. So thank you.
Thanks, Cameron. We have a couple questions that have dropped in. I'll start at the top. Could you please speak to the rise and potential growth of threads, especially as it relates to users transitioning away from X, Twitter?
Right. So as I mentioned, there's probably kind of an exodus going on with Twitter right now as it's reshaping itself into something kind of different. I'm not sure really how that plays into the topic of threads and the concept of digital marketing with that. But I would say that, investing your time and efforts in the X platform right now, formerly Twitter, is a bit of a risk. So if you've been using it before, it's probably safe to continue to do so. But if you're a new business starting out, I wouldn't really recommend that as one of the primary focuses of a digital marketing campaign. I would focus right now on Facebook and Instagram, but also not forgetting things like YouTube is really good for video content, and TikTok is as well for video content for a much younger demographic.
How do you optimize a business or personal email for mobile devices?
So you can't really optimize the name of the email. For example, hello@yourbusiness.com. You don't need to optimize that for mobile devices. But when I mentioned optimizing emails for mobile devices, it's the email when you create it and when you're sending it out. So that would mean making sure the images aren't too wide horizontally. We've all seen probably, we got an email on our phone, and for some reason we have to scroll to the side to see the image or to see the video. So this is a more old-fashioned way, and this causes problems when viewing on mobile devices. So primarily we want to make sure emails don't have to scroll horizontally. And MailChimp is really good at making sure your images and videos are fitting into the right form factor. So if you use a platform like that, you shouldn't have to worry about this too much. But if you're sending from maybe a more old-fashioned approach, like from an email address directly to somebody else, you might find that emails you send are now having to span horizontally across the screen, which doesn't work well on a mobile device.
What are your thoughts on targeted ads on Hulu?
So that's a great question. Hulu is a platform I have not had experience running paid ads on. It's very similar to YouTube in the sense that they embed ads at the beginning and sometimes the middle of a program somebody's watching on that platform. So I can't speak specifically to Hulu and the tactics there. But with YouTube, you can set up an ad that will target a certain type of product that somebody could be interested in. So let's just say they are like a car mechanic, and so they're learning about car mechanic topics. You have an ad for maybe a car tire cleaner kit. So you will tell the Google or the YouTube algorithm the kind of ads and the videos you want your ad to be shown in and the interests that are associated, and then it will do the rest essentially and put your ad in the middle of these videos based on what you've told it. So I think Hulu has a similar approach. So the main thing is to understand what types of videos you want your ad to be shown in, and you're able to select those when you then pay for your ad.
Could you show some examples of good websites or social media pages that implement these techniques so we can see them in action and you can point out what they did well and what could be improved? I don't know if you can do that today or if that might be a future webinar.
Yeah, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't really have prepared some examples of that, but I can see how that would be useful. So I can work that into the next time I give this presentation. So yeah, I mean, specific examples of websites that look good. Again, it varies a ton because a website that looks good, that I show an example of, it might not be in the industry that you're in. So every industry and every product that's being sold has a different design philosophy that's kind of the best practices right now. So, for that, it's probably good to speak with a website designer or an advisor who can, really understand your business and what you're trying to sell, and then show you relevant examples of websites or social media pages for your industry, because it is such a specific thing.
What's a target open rate for an email campaign?
So open rates is, again, it's the number of people who open the email. So they might see it in their inbox, and once you clicked on an email, it shows that it's been read. So if nobody clicks on it, it won't show as being opened. As soon as they click on it, whether or not they read it, it'll show as an open. So again, open rates can vary a lot. And so some people would be happy with a 5% open rate, but other businesses really need something like a 25 or 30% open rate. I've seen it, from small businesses in Virginia. I think the average is around 10 to 15%. But again, you might find that 15% is extraordinarily good for you or very, very bad. It kind of depends on what you're selling, who you're selling to. And also, having an open of your email doesn't necessarily mean that they have taken your call to action and clicked on the link to go to your website and buy your good or service. So you should also measure the click-through rate, which is always available in your analytics. The click-through rate is probably just as important to track and understand as the open rate. And then the final thing in that process will be the conversion rate. So first, if they open it, that's great. And then they should click, that's great. And then they should buy. That's the end goal. So the conversion rate will always be the smallest of those three, but the conversion rate is what you should probably be focusing on, and you should see that increasing over time. A good conversion rate, again, it varies quite a bit by industry, but between 3 and 5% would be a pretty good conversion rate. If you have more than 5%, it just means you're doing really well at providing information to your target market that they're interested in, and also having a product that's good at a price point that's good, so they're buying it.
Does a video cause a web page to load slowly?
That's a good question. No, it doesn't. Not in the sense that having large images would make a website load slowly and cause you to have a low SEO score. The way most websites do videos is they host that video on YouTube or Hulu or Vimeo or some other kind of video sharing platform, and they embed that. So when somebody goes to your website, they're not actually streaming the video from your website, they're streaming it from YouTube. And so the search engines, they realize this. They realize that having a video, you essentially just have a window to YouTube on your website. And so it does not negatively increase your page load times at all.
Where can you buy targeted email list?
Well, that's a great question. It depends on what your industry is. For example, I worked with a small business that was in the landscaping, like residential and commercial landscaping. So there's a national organization of American landscape architects, and they have an annual conference. So by joining that association at a certain level, is like $5,000, they gave you access to their entire email list, which was all the target market that this business needed access to. So you should look and see if there's a national or regional organization in your industry and see if there's a membership tier, which will give you access to that list. Otherwise, there are what's probably not super legal kind of gray market brokers who buy and sell email lists. I don't know how trustworthy any of those are or how good those emails really are. So, I wouldn't really be able to give recommendations of where to find those types of things, but you could probably Google it and take your chances. But I think sticking with national like organizations and associations that have members that are your target market and finding out how you can get access to those membership lists is the better and safer bet.
Which email platform works best with MailChimp for business?
And so MailChimp is a platform in and of itself that, again, it sends your emails for you and it tracks all of the analytics that you need to track. And so it is a platform. It's considered a platform. Now, it does not host your emails, so you don't check your email on the MailChimp website. You can have your email hosted with anybody. So it can be Google, it could be Microsoft, it could be Office 365, Yahoo, whatever. Any email host that you have to check your emails like normal will work fine with MailChimp. Again, MailChimp simply sends emails on your behalf and gives you reports and analytic data on how well they went.
What tools do you suggest for a social media ad agency? Where do you suggest finding clients?
So if I understand right, this client, they are a social media ad agency looking for,
So.
looking for clients. Well, for social media advertising, popular places are the freelancer platforms like Upwork and Fiverr. So if you're not already listed on there, you can join I'm sure thousands of other social media marketers who are listed there. It's a big marketplace. There's a lot of competition, but you can make yourself stand out through your rates, through setting up a great profile, having a really good portfolio of your previous work. So those would be two of the first places I would start. Other than that, you could go down the road of creating paid ads. So assuming you have a website, you might, let's just say you're located in Richmond, Virginia, you can create some ads just targeting Richmond to say, look, we're a local social media marketing firm. We specialize in Richmond. Businesses, contact us today. But you need a niche, so you could go geographic and just focus on some local clientele base. In the last year, we've seen a shift towards in-person interactions again, after COVID restrictions have been lifted. So people do prefer to find marketing managers or website developers who they can meet face-to-face and who are local. So that could be a way to exploit your local region and help you find customers if this is new business, kind of get your reputation out there.
And I'm just going to add, Joseph, if that didn't answer your question, if I didn't portray it right, go ahead and drop it back into the Q&A and we'll get back to you. Okay, thanks. What is the best social, this is a personal question for me. What is the best social media for older folks age 50 to 70 years? I'm on Facebook a lot.
I was going to say, do you want to take a stab? That's great. So the question is, what's the best platform? Is the question, if
what
your
is
target
the best
market is
social
older,
media for older folks? I'm guessing, if
to target them,
you
for
want to
your
target
clients.
the older,
Well, even though the majority of Facebook users are 25 to 34, Facebook is known for being the platform that also has the largest percentage of older people between 50 and 70 and even older. So while that's not the majority of their users, of the major platforms, Facebook has the largest percentage of that age group, as far as my understanding goes. So I think Facebook, that's the main one that I'd recommend for an older age group.
My teenage daughter calls Facebook, she says that's for old people. That's, Instagram's for the young ones.
That's the reputation it's been getting the last 2
Right?
years or so. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for business to business marketing on social media, do you recommend interacting with followers? Example, liking their comments, responding, commenting on their posts, or should you just promote the work and stay relatively anonymous professional?
Um, so again, with B2B sales, the key is that there's going to be multiple people in that decision-making process. So it's not really an emotional appeal to them in your marketing strategy. It's more about presenting hard facts and data. So part of your campaign could be, having some interesting data, like a short little bit every day. And then you could have a link to a full report or a PDF file or something that can be downloaded kind of with all the information. Then if somebody in the chain of a B2B sales sees that, gets interested, they can forward it up to somebody else who could maybe make the decision to buy. So that would be my recommendation when focusing on B2B sales with social media.
Um, is there a service or strategy available to help ones who do buy Google Ads to block ones using them to advertise their own services? Did you get that?
I mean, I understood, I heard the question, but I'm not sure I understand the logic of it. When you buy a Google ad, you're buying it only to advertise your good or service and get sales for your business. So I'm not sure I understand the part about blocking. Yeah, so maybe if that person wants to clarify some of that, but
I
I
was gonna
don't
say,
really understand how to
Derek.
answer it.
Yeah, Derek, if you could just maybe drop another question just to clarify what you're looking for to make sure we cover that. Thanks. As a service industry, so we are business to business and business to consumer. Do marketing techniques change or just segment? And how does one create a good balance between emotional versus logical messages to your audience in this situation to cater to both?
Yeah, well, catering to both can be tricky.
Mm.
The last 5 or 10 years have shown a very clear separation between a successful B2C sales and a B2B sales. So if your market, if your revenue generators are really divided equally between those two, it is a bit tricky. It's not a situation that is very common. But I would suggest you maybe have a series of social media posts on a topic aimed at the B2C crowd. Let's say you have a week, you do 5 posts, they're building up to some sort of, emotional response. And then maybe the next week you have a whole focus on B2B sales and you start presenting some data and some facts and having some downloadable files. So again, yeah, it's a great question. I don't really know the best strategy for that, but what I mentioned, it seems like a logical way to approach it. And the main thing here is that you're being proactive of really looking at what's been working for you. You might take several months, maybe even 6 months until you have some data to show, well, how are your posts working? How is the strategy working? You'll have to adapt that over time and learn from it.
Let's see. Can you recap the best days and hours for sending emails to business clients?
Right. So the frequency, it does depend on the type of industry you're in, but generally speaking, once to twice a week, up to 5 times a week, right? Every day, Monday through Friday. That is the most frequent, but that can be either unsustainable for you to write that many or overwhelming to the recipient. So you do have to decide, probably around 2 a week. And the best times, again, it can vary. So if your target market is a normal 8 to 5 type of desk job, then studies have shown the best time to be sending those emails are between 9 and 10 a.m. when most people are getting into work and trying to maybe take a few minutes to catch up on some personal emails. And then also between 6 and 7 p.m. as people are doing their commute home and kind of shifting away from work emails to catch up on some of those personal ones that might have come in through the day.
What is the best way to approach a potential affiliate partner to form a working relationship, and what should you expect to pay per lead?
Yeah, so how much you pay is really up between you and them. There's no set standards. Again, it's like a contract or an agreement between you as a business with a product and affiliate with an audience. So that's just going to be completely a discussion and a negotiation between you and them. But it's a good place to start by asking them what they expect, and if that seems reasonable, you can maybe negotiate them down a little bit. However, if it's 10 times what you're planning on spending, I would just be transparent and say, I thought it would be much less. This is what I'm willing to offer. Now, of course, if you approach one affiliate with an offer, they might not say yes. So I probably focus on between 5 and 10 and contact a broad spectrum of possible partners you can work with. And not to say you should lowball all of them, but just to see the range of prices they expect. You might find some are more in line with your expectations than others. And as far as how you can approach them, you can send a direct message on a social media platform. So you can direct message them. Of course, they might not even see that. They might not get back. So that's a possibility. Some will have an email address, or if they have a business, they might have a business website. So that will probably have a phone number. So you might have to try multiple methods to contact somebody, especially if they've got 1 million followers or 10 million followers. They're probably being approached for affiliate partnerships frequently. So they might just not have the bandwidth to get back to you. But so direct messages, emails, and find a phone number, maybe on a business website to contact them at.
Okay, so Derek did follow up. This was the question about the Google ads. So basically he's purchased Google ads in the past and they've worked well, but was running an issue where other businesses were clicking on the ads, burning up the clicks to advertise to me their own businesses. They'd fill out the forms, and then I was not able to reach my targeted audience. So my question is, how can I either block them or adjust my Google ads so I don't get advertisers burning up my click-through ads?
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting problem. I don't know the solution. I'll just say that up front. I don't know. But I understand the problem being that you had maybe some competitors, it sounds like, clicking on your ads, spending money, making you spend money, filling out your contact form with a bunch of garbage. That's unfortunate. There's not really good methods to prevent that I've ever heard of. So what I would recommend you do if it's a problem is Google Ads has a whole team just to help people with their ad questions. If you haven't contacted them, ask. Google might have processes in place, like on the back end, that they can initiate for you to help slow that kind of thing down or prevent it or detect it. But honestly, I don't know. There's nothing that the public has access to, like a tool that I've ever heard of to monitor or prevent that kind of thing from happening, unfortunately.
Is Facebook really good for ads? I hear some say they work, others say they don't. How can you learn more about how to do ads on Facebook?
That's a great question. So some businesses find Facebook ads to be their bread and butter of digital marketing, and they spend most of their online budget on Facebook because they've gotten great returns. They've been able to track their conversion rate and see for every dollar spent, they're getting $10 back. So the first thing here is that you need to be able to track that. And again, by looking at the analytics, otherwise you're just never going to know if it's being effective or not. Now, if it's going to be effective for your business, it's really hard to say. Generally speaking, there's a learning curve to it, and you've got to start with an ad with maybe a $300 a month budget. And after the month, you'll see how well the ad did and what sales you got from that $300. And maybe you did great and you want to just expand that ad's reach, you give it more budget, or maybe it failed and you want to start a brand new ad. So those are all possibilities, but it's hard to tell at this point, if it would be successful or not. It would take a much more in-depth look at your business and your target market and your competitors. As far as how do you create a Facebook ad, I know in the past, the Virginia SBDC has had classes on like Facebook ads. It's even one that I might be able to do next year. So that's a possibility. Also, you can find some great tutorials on YouTube with videos. There are people similar to me with a digital marketing background. And my recommendation there would be just filter that and only look at the videos from the last 3 months or 6 months, because the information gets outdated very quickly. So you could search on YouTube for Facebook ad strategies, find some that have had a lot of views in the last few months, and that should give you a pretty good insight into what was working currently. But again, it's really a lot of experimentation and trial and error that you're going to have to put in the time to learn about your target market and how they react on Facebook.
How do you know when you are providing good value on social media?
So generally, your followers on a platform like Facebook and the likes they give your posts, or the thumbs ups, if it's valuable information, that's just going to increase by itself. How fast it will increase is really hard to predict. It depends on the type of content you're writing and the target market you're going for. Some businesses, they see 100 or 200 new users every month just by posting. Other businesses might only see a dozen new users a month or less, or followers. And so there's no real standard of how fast you should expect your social media following to grow. But one way you can maybe get some sense of it is look at who your top 5 or 10 competitors are on Facebook and see what they're posting, see what types of posts they're doing, get the most thumbs up and the most comments. So for example, if they're doing text posts, images, and every now and then a video, and let's just say you see the videos are getting by far the most likes and the most comments, you can understand that your target market, it really prefers the video content. So you can focus more on those. So yeah, it's just a matter of starting to do research and start with your competitors and see what their strategies are like and get a sense of what posts you should be focusing on.
So we have about less than 10 minutes and about 10 questions. So let's see what we can get through. If I wanted to outsource all digital marketing as a small business, what's a reasonable budget, and how can one evaluate competing providers? Like, what would you look for? Are there certifications that signal quality and continued training?
Yeah, that's a really tricky question. A lot of small business owners I meet with, they want to find a one-stop shop that will do all their online marketing for them. They just pay this agency some amount a month. They're going to run their ads. They're going to do their social media posts. They're going to do everything. Unfortunately, it usually doesn't work very well because the disconnect is between these social media marketing firms that work with thousands and thousands of businesses every month and your product and your target market. Because, again, nobody knows your product and your target market as well as you do as the business owner. And there's no substitute for that knowledge in creating your digital marketing ads and your social media posts. So an ad agency or creative agency, they might say they're going to learn and research and really customize it. But from my experience in the last few years, almost every small business that's gone down that road has found an unpleasant experience, that they have not delivered on their promises, that it has not succeeded in their goals of increasing sales. So with that said, I encourage business owners to try to be as hands-on as they can with this stuff. If you can write 2 or 3 posts a week and really think about what your target wants to hear and what they need to hear, then that's much more valuable than paying a large nationwide or international company money to try to do that for you, because honestly, they're never going to put in the time or the attention that you will. But you asked about prices. There's the one that I've worked with is called Life Marketing. It's LYFE, and they're based in Atlanta, Georgia. They think they start around $300 or $400 a month, and for that they just do like 1 post a week. But they claim to do it like an expert. But it's hard. It's hard to recommend using any of the big firms for the reason I just mentioned. So I'd encourage you to, instead invest that money in yourself, invest that money in building up your own skills, and invest in your own potential, because in the long run, being able to do more of this yourself is going to be really invaluable to the success of your business. And then once you're a really big business, your option would probably be to hire a full-time a social media marketing person who already has 5 years of experience, but they're going to probably cost $90,000 or $100,000 a year. So until you're ready to hire someone who will work with you dedicated, I would try to do it yourself as much as possible.
Do you think LinkedIn is a good place to market as well? How can a business owner optimize LinkedIn?
That's a great question. LinkedIn is definitely a social media platform. And if I had mentioned one more in my presentation, it would be LinkedIn, because it is quite big. Now, it's only really useful for B2B type businesses. And anybody on LinkedIn has probably gotten many of these in mails where there's somebody with a business trying to sell to you if you're a business owner. So that's how it's useful. You know, you pay LinkedIn a certain amount of money to get 20 in mails a month or 100 a month, and then it's kind of like sending an email right to your target buyer. So while I will say I think it's gotten pretty busy and a bit overwhelming on LinkedIn over the last few years with the number of people using it for that, it still is the only platform where you could find, you know, the general manager of your target market. Like he's literally the person who will buy your product. It's really the only platform where you can reach out to them directly. And so it's worth trying. But again, you'll need to pay LinkedIn for the in-mails you want to send every month, and you have a limit on how many you can send. So they try to keep spam down that way.
What's an appropriate percentage of annual revenue to spend on digital marketing as a whole?
That's a great question. And if you're a Silicon Valley based startup, you're probably spending, well, if you even have any revenue, you're probably spending, you know, 80% of revenue on marketing. But that's not typical for probably the type of businesses here. So I say that in the sense that it's so wide ranging. You know, there is no ideal percentage of revenue to spend on it. It's really, you make a strategic business plan. And as part of that plan, you're probably going to project, you know, 2024. What are your business activities? What do you think your revenue will be? How much can you allocate to your marketing budget based on your other expenses? So I think the question really comes down to that, is it's a sliding scale, more marketing, less for other things. You've got to balance that all out. And I know it can be challenging, and the SBDC has great business advisors who can help you think through a business plan and a strategy and help you do some financial planning if you are feeling unsure about that. But there is no one answer for that question. So yeah, I mean, I would say a good range would probably be between 10 and 20%. But again, it could be way over 20% in some cases, and some businesses might not even have 10% to spend on their marketing. So yeah, it's a pretty wide open answer.
I'm afraid we're not going to get to all the questions, so I'm going to go through a couple more. But I wanted to say, if we don't get to your question, just send an email to help at virginiasbdc.org, and we'll try to get your questions answered. So one of the questions we have here is, can you explain bid amount again?
Yeah, so when you create an ad for Google or Facebook, the amount you pay when somebody clicks on that ad is it's called the bid amount. And so it's set by default based on your industry and your target market, but say it's 50 cents. So you're going to pay 50 cents every time somebody clicks on your ad. If you want your ad to be shown more frequently, you have to increase the amount you're willing to pay. So say you go to $1 or $2. You will then pay $1 or $2 every time somebody clicks on your ad, but it will increase the likelihood of it showing up because there's only slots for, I think, 3 ads in a Google search result. So, you know, if you're the 4th one that would have been on that list, you're just not shown at all. So if you're not seeing many people clicking on your ads, then you can increase your bid amount to have a better chance of them being up there in the section with the ads. And the same thing goes for Facebook. It works in the same way. And you change the bid amount just when you go to look at the ad campaign. That'll be just an option right there. It'll probably say this was set by default, but do you want to change it manually? You can do that.
Do marketing campaigns work well for nonprofits and schools? Would the strategies you talked about today change? And if so, how? In what way?
So, you know, that's a great question. Mainly the Small Business Development Center, we focus on working with for-profit businesses, right? And so nonprofits, they do have different strategies when it comes to online marketing that weren't really covered here today, because you're probably looking, I mean, a nonprofit might be looking for donors, right? Or people to donate. So in that case, your strategy would change. It's not really an area that I have expertise in, and it's not information that I have really thought out or prepared. So what I'd recommend is that you might Google an effective digital marketing strategy for nonprofits to increase donations and start there, because I think there's some other really good tutorials and step-by-steps of what might have worked in 2023, but unfortunately I don't have that information.
And then I had mentioned earlier if there were topics that you all would be interested in. Someone did say here, can you do a follow-up session to discuss analytics on Facebook, Google, and MailChimp and how to interpret? So just want to put that out there.
Thank you. No, I think that's great. That could definitely be another 90-minute session on analytics on those 3 platforms with examples and real world scenarios there. Yeah, I think that's a great topic for next year.
And we are out of time. If you just want to if you have a few more words, Cameron, and then I will wrap us up. I know everyone needs to probably get on with their day. But thank you.
All right.
very
Well,
much.
yeah. Well, thanks everybody for your questions. It was, I think, a great session, and you had really good questions. I encourage you to stick with your digital marketing. Don't feel overwhelmed or confused or frustrated, but start, somewhere if you're new to this, and always continue to reach out to the SBDC. We have lots of advisors and lots of areas that can help your business. And also stay tuned. Look at our website's calendar for next year's schedule of trainings, which should be out soon. And I'll be hopefully leading some of those, so we'll be able to meet again then.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Cameron. And thank you everyone for attending today. You will receive an email with a link to the recording and to the slides. If you would like to sign up for upcoming webinars or access recorded webinars, please visit virginiasbdc.org/training. This webinar and other SBDC resources are designed to be used in collaboration with your local SBDC advisors. You can sign up for a free and confidential session by emailing help@virginiasbdc.org or via our website. We hope to see you at our next session, and I wish everyone a happy new year.
Thanks,
Take care.
everybody. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.